here today for another Beadaholique live class. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope your week has started out well. It's only Tuesday, so if it's not been super great, you've got plenty of time to improve it from here. I hope you had a good weekend as well. I'm so grateful that you all join us here at beadaholique.com/live. Hi, Thaisa. Thank you for being here. One of my trusty sidekicks for the day is Thaisa. Give her a shout out, my friends. Tell her hello and welcome her to the show. I'm seeing some hearts on the screens as well this morning. Thank you so much. Beadaholique.com is closing its doors, but my friends, we are having so much fun until that door is locked with a padlock. Julie and I both are coming to you throughout the week to share ideas, projects, products, and we hope that you will join us until we can't do this anymore because we love hanging out with all of you. It's so much fun. Thank you all for being here. Let's see who's joined. Oh my goodness. So I'm seeing Marianne from Massachusetts and Tanya. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. Monique Daly is here and from Arizona. Hey. Ooh, sorry about that. Marianne says good morning to everyone. Francie in KC. Millie from New York. Anna. Marianne says hello to Thaisa. Let's see who else. Carol from South Jersey. Netta says North Carolina in the house. Santa Barbara girls, Sandra. Oh, thank you so much. I think these were a Beadaholique project I did quite some time ago with some little Egyptian onks. Really fun earrings, some of my favorites. Francie in KC, say that 10 times fast, is excited for tiaras. We're going to have some fun today. Fern says good morning. Leanne from Virginia says hello. Janet is here from Northeast Texas. Cindy from Tucson. Hi. Lisa from PA. Jane from Long Island. Ooh, Michelle is here too. Hi, Michelle. Welcome, Michelle, to the show, you guys. Michelle is here in the house as well. So we've got Michelle and Thaisa moderating today. Thank you, guys. Carol is here. Leah is here. Sharon is here from Iowa. Marianne says she loves my blouse. Thank you, Marianne. I'm going with bright, bold floral today. Dee from Miami. Florida is here. I love Miami. Let's see. Susan J is from Seattle. Allie is here and she's new. Allie, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Kat is here. Oh, I'm already tired, you guys. And Sherry from northeast of Ohio is here. Takema is here. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you for joining us. So today is September 30th. Tomorrow is October. I am always just in amazement of how fast time goes by. But here we are again on another Tuesday, and this is going to be a fun live class today. So just a few things to remind you of because we got to get all the business out of the way. If you are shopping at beadaholique.com, everything right now is 40% off. It's the closing sale, and that's very sad, but the silver lining is you can get all kinds of great stuff for 40% off. I mean, that's amazing, and there's still some amazing things left. There are some things that are not available, and I can't guarantee you that everything that's in the show today is still available or will still be available at the end of the show. So if you're watching live, you might want to make sure you check out before the show is over because stuff sells out. And if your cart sits, sometimes you can't get your stuff back once you go back to it. So Just a little reminder of that, 40% off everything. You don't need a coupon code. You don't need a special handshake. You don't need a letter from anyone. Just 40% off. All of the items are marked that way. And orders over $35 ship free. So who doesn't love free shipping? That's one of my favorite things. I'm going to have a t-shirt made up that says, I heart free shipping. That's one of my favorite things. So if you're joining for the first time, I know we had at least one person that said she's here and she's new. If you're watching on beadaholique.com/live, that's the best place to watch the show because we can see your comments. So you can chit chat with me and Michelle and Thaisa. We can see your comments. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we love that you're watching. But if you're live, we can't, if we're live, we can't see your comments there. We can always catch up with those comments later. But we want you to come on over here and hang out with us. And you can show the love by clicking the hearts. Thank you guys for all those hearts. I love that. And you can shop the show. So just so you know, if you're afraid to do that, don't be afraid because you can click on that shopping bag and I don't go away. I get smaller on the screen. You can still hear me and see me, but you can shop the show. So that little shopping bag has everything that I'm working with today and more. So I always like to add some extra things because sometimes things sell out and sometimes I don't have enough of the things that you can work with as examples. So you might find some other goodies in that shopping bag. You can take those things and you can pop them into your shopping cart and check out and get those things merrily on their way to you. Oh, Sandra, you're so sweet. It's a lot of coffee. I still have coffee going this morning. So I'm still drinking coffee and that's how I maintain my good spirits every day. Good morning, Kathy. Thank you for being here. So guys, if you want to shop the show, don't hesitate to do that. And if you're watching the show here at beadaholique.com on replay, you can still shop the show that way too. So come on over if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. There are some ways that you can come on over and shop. It's just a few more steps to do that, but we would love for you to come on over. All right. Angie says, couldn't live without coffee. I know, right? Like, what has become of us? We are so hooked. Oh my gosh. Thank you. My mug, I didn't even plan that one, Santa Barbara girl. I usually plan it, but this is from an artisan, Damiana Studio, in case you know of her. She is my Bulgarian friend and makes amazing ceramics. So, thank you. So, what we're going to do today is super fun. Before I flip the camera down, Halloween is coming and the holidays are coming. So it's the perfect time of year to have a fancy headband for a party, maybe a fun Halloween headband or Halloween tiara. And sometimes just wearing a tiara is important. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like a princess or a queen. And I just think, just a little something fun like this is great. We all love beads here. If you're here, you probably love beads. So this is another way to use beads. Michelle, spooky queen. Yes. So there are so many ways that you can have fun with what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to flip my camera down. Let me flip down. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. So I put together a couple of samples. Giggles from Arizona says she has a tiny tiara. So look at this. These are headband frames. And we've got these in the show today. There are two. I'll show you the blanks in just a minute. But I put together a couple of very girly tiara types. So this is a very, very simple wire wrapping project. Now you could get more fancy. I'll show you one idea. We're just going to kind of play with some ideas today. so that you can see the possibilities of what you can create with these frames that I hope will still be available to you today. I'm seeing one on the screen right now. So I put together this one. First, before we do that, let me show you the actual blank frames. So here's what I'm talking about. These are the components. So these are a really nice quality. I've seen these. I've worked with a number of these over the years, and sometimes the quality is not so great. But these are a very nice quality. I was very pleased when these arrived. So let's look at the gold one. So this is the inside, and it is textured, which is important because the texturing will help it to stay in place. So I actually have really straight hair. I curl my hair on a weekly basis, and I have super straight, super smooth hair. So if I didn't have this on a headband, that headband would be slipping and sliding all over my head. So that texturing on the inside is helpful. Now it is very smooth and shiny on the outside, and it has a little bit of a bend at the end. The gold one is 22 karat gold plated. So it is nice plating on this. The silver one also has the texturing on the inside and also has that shiny outside. And my fingerprints are all over these. So I'm sorry they're not as flashy because I've been touching them. But the silver one is silver plated. So these are nice plated headband components. And you can make headbands, tiaras, crowns, all kinds of fun things. Maybe you'd like cosplay, or you like, you like to just wear a fun headgear thing, or you just like a little fancy headband to go with your business suit, because that's also an option. So these are the components that we're going to work with. So I'm going to set those off to the side. And all you really need for creating these is something to cut your wire with and some chain nose pliers. And I believe I have a different pair of these in the show today. My other pair is MIA. But there is a pair of Xuron cutters in the show. I see it on the screen. And then I believe I was able to get these Wubbers chain nose into the show today as well. So you need just 2 tools. And then you need a little bit of wire. So I pulled some wire out of my stash. I've got some 22 gauge and some 24 gauge. So you can use even a smaller gauge, like a 26 if you'd like. 28 is probably the smallest I would go. Lorraine says, hello, can they be used for Disney ears? Yeah, I can't see why not. I've never made Disney ears before, but I'm sure you could do that. Oh, and Michelle says she has a pattern for cat ears. Awesome. That is fun too. So you need some wire and you need something to embellish with. And we have lots of beads around here. So let me show you what I used for this one. So when I found this on the website, I went crazy. This is a glass pearl bead mix. It's 100 grams of glass pearls. And look at these fun colors. So I'm just going to pour a few of them out into a dish here so you can see all the pretties. Look at that color. These are so joyful, so cheerful, and it's a ton of pearls. And I used some already, and they're a bunch of different sizes. So I think this little guy, I don't know if I can even get it into my finger. This little one is probably like a 3 millimeter. This one looks like about a 10 millimeter. These are just so incredibly beautiful. They're glass. And they are so divine. So lots of pretty colors. And when I thought of this, I thought this is so princess or unicorn. So if you're looking to make some kind of a princess headband or maybe some kind of fancy unicorn costume, grab these pearls because they're so festive and pretty and colorful and fun. So I think they are too, Kiha. They are so beautiful. So what I did was I grabbed my 22 gauge wire and I grabbed a few of the big pearls. So a few of the big ones, and then I wrapped a couple of small ones at the end. This is so easy to do, so much fun. Hey, Monica. Thanks, Laureen. So this is so easy to do. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do this and what I suggest to do something like this. But let's take a look at my other sample. This one is fun. So this one involves wrapping rhinestone cup chain. Now there was only one rhinestone cup chain option available on Beadaholique.com. You guys have scooped up all the rest. Most of it is sold out. So what you're seeing on the screen is what's available. This is not that. I used what I had from my stash. I have quite an abundance of this chain because I love it so. And I took this guy and I wrapped the rhinestone chain up, part of the side. So this would be about the portion that would be visible up top. And then I wrapped some beads into a little focal and I used these. So I'll show you the beads I used. These are also glass pearls. These are check glass pearls and these are a 6mm silver. These come in a 25 piece strand and they are lovely. So 25 on this strand here, Kiha, if I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm sorry, Kiha. So this is a nice little strand. I used some, so there's a few missing from this handful, but I've got some other pearls. Let me just show you that come. So if you want more of a traditional white pearl, maybe you're working on a bridal or a bridesmaid or a flower girl tiara. There are some beautiful, this is the strand. These are the same as the silver, but in white. I think the white is called snow. And the this one, the creamier one is cream. So these are lovely. These are check glass. They are divine. So, if you want to wrap something like that, they are K-How. Okay, thanks, K-How. I like that name. The crystal rhinestone one, if you click on the shopping bag, you can actually get the details on that rhinestone chain, or maybe Thaisa or Michelle can answer that. So these are some pearl options. I also put in the show some other bead options. So these might be kind of radical. I'll show you these. Maybe you want a Christmas crown. These are gorgeous. These are a Color Trends saturated fire polish bead. They are amazing. They're 8mm. So something like this works. You could also do a smaller fire polish. So maybe you like a blue. Look at this gorgeous blue. This is 6mm. It's capri blue. So that would look really lovely on either the silver or the gold. So that matches nicely up to both. Mahalo. So that is, this is like a total, like, just go for it kind of thing, because you can't really go wrong with something like this. As long as you have the basics down, you can really do anything that you want with this kind of a project. This is just super fun. So I thought I would show you, let's take some of the pearls. So I'm going to actually put a mat down. There's actually a mat, one of these big mats in the show today. So if you're in need of a new mat, there's a set of these big ones available in the show. And I think I'm going to work with the gold. The gold is a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to work with the 22 gauge wire. Now, just a few comments about putting something like this together. So know that you can be in control of the wire. So you don't have to cut off a ton of wire because you can add wire to something like this. So if you try to wrap the whole thing with one piece of continuous wire, you're going to make yourself crazy. I couldn't possibly show you that on screen because it would be too much wire to work with. But the cool thing about a project like this is you can add wire as you go. So you could add a section and then add another section of wire and add some more beads, add another section of wire and more beads. So you can be in control of how much wire you want to work with. Another thing to be mindful of is if you want to be very precise in your wraps, you can be very precise. So you can make sure that those wraps are very, very nice and, side by side and really beautiful. Or you can go nuts and just do crazy, wild, messy wrap kinds of things. That's also a really cool look. So you can be in control of what you want to do here. So let me show you how I like to start it out. Now I'm going to cut off, I'm going to cut off maybe like 1.5 feet or so of wire and just show you how I like to get things started. So when you decide on your design, which, you can sit down and plot it all out. You can say, I'm going to do all of the colors of these large pearls. So there's a number of these large pearl colors like this. Here's another color. I think this one is a little bit different than that one. It is. And let's see, do I have other colors? Let me look in my little bag. I think that might be all the big ones. Oh wait, there's a darker green one in here. All right, so you can lay everything out like this. Ooh, that's pretty. And actually there's a gray one too. Okay, so you could lay everything out like this and you can say, I'm going to wrap these and I want to start roughly from the midpoint. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like an uneven number. So I'm going to take that gray off. And I think it's easier for me just to have an uneven number. I can then kind of get to my center point a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to pull those beads to the side. I'm going to hold on to that. Actually, I'm going to set them all aside. So I'm going to start and I'm going to put some wire towards the center. And I'm going to have like maybe 1.5 to 2 inches over here. And I'm going to start wrapping. I'm going to start wrapping around. And I'm going to get that wire wrapped so it's right next to each other. And I'm using a little bit of force here. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. And it's a little hard to start. Like once you get it started, you're good. But here's a few wraps. And I'm going to come around, and what I want to achieve is when I get to the end here, I want to use my pliers and kind of twist that up a little bit. So first of all, I can take my pliers and I can squish those guys together. And then I can actually take that little end of the wire and manipulate it and press it into the form, into the tiara form. Now, what I always try to do is finish the end of the wire so that it's upwards and not on the bottom, because if you're putting this on and off your head and you've got that little excess piece of wire, you want to minimize the amount of catches on that wire. So you just want to be aware that that can happen. So try to finish up top. So I'm going to push the wire over. So I want to have beads going around this top portion, but I want to start down here so that my short part of the wire is down here and I've got all this wire to work with. So what I do then is I'm going to pull this wire around and upwards so that it's upwards, and this is the top of my headband, okay? Now, whether you're wearing this as a tiara kind of in front of across your head, or you're wearing this so this is on the top, like this is down on top of your head and these are facing outwards, I would still wrap them the same way so that they're sitting on this fairly substantial, portion of the top of the component. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a bead. You can decide which bead you want to start with. And I'm going to put that onto my wire. And I'm going to let that bead drop down, and it's going to sit on top of this component. Now I want to give it enough space and bend it around. I want to actually give it a little more space. Bend it around, and oh, it's not. There we go. Get that, give it a little more space. And I'm going to actually pull that other part. So I've got the wire coming forward, bead is on, and then I'm going back around behind it. And I'm going to do some nice tight wraps. And I'm holding on to that bead. Once you get a few wraps on, that bead is going to stay put. Now it's okay for that wire to be showing, and it's okay if your bead is at an angle. I kind of like that look. I think that's kind of fun. And then I can always come in and press that together a little bit, and you've got now a secure bead. That bead's not going anywhere. It's on the form. So then I'm going to grab my wire. I'm going to bring that straight up, and I'm going to grab my next color, and I'm going to get my pink bead on. Oh, that is the cutest pink bead. So I'm going to grab that bead, hold on to it, and then I'm going to hold it up here. So I'm holding on here, and I'm taking my wire and I'm wrapping around. The cool thing about a headband is you've got this opening down here, so you don't have to worry about going through a closed frame. So if you had like a bracelet that you were wire wrapping or something like that, it's a little bit harder when your frame is closed. So that is so cute. I love the colors. Let's do this light green one. So we're going to take that one down. And your wire might get a little wonky. If it does, you can grab your wire straightener and you can straighten out your wire. Oops, I'm going to go this way and push that in. Now you have a little bit of flexibility to get your pieces moving. Like you can move them. Once you get everything all wrapped on and done, the more hardening of the wire that you've done by working with it, the less you'll have the ability to move it around. But you can still kind of move things around for a period of time, and put it in a place you want it to be. So take my next bead, just going to hold on to that bead, slide it up a little bit, pull that wire from behind, hold that bead on top, and do my wraps. And if at any point your wraps aren't tight enough, you can grab those chain nose and press that in. And then I'm going to, and I can actually press with my fingers. And if you're using a smaller gauge wire, like a 24 or a 26, you can move that around a lot easier. The higher the gauge, the thinner the wire. Yes. So 22 is going to be a little thicker and a little heavier than a 24. So, I wouldn't go any higher than a 28, and I wouldn't go any lower than a 22. I think those are the easiest to work with, for something like this. So, all right, so I'm pulling my wire up again. I'm going to grab this dark green. Actually, I'm going to go with yellow. So grab my yellow and pull that down and get my wrapping on. And I love to wrap stuff. So that's one of my favorite things to do. It's just kind of fun to wrap beads. And look, I can still press these over a little bit and get this placed how I want it. And then let's grab this dark green bead, put that on, and I'm going to give that some space to bend a little bit over and wrap, 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 and up. And then my last bead, and then we're going to do some more, wrapping, and I'll show you what we'll do. So I'm going to bend that bead up. So with about 1.5 foot of wire, I was able to wrap this whole section. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of eyeball this. I'm going to do just some gentle movement of these beads. And again, this does not have to be perfect wrapping. You can wrap as comfortably as you would like. Santa Barbara Girl says these would be pretty for Christmas for little girls and big girls too. Snowflakes for Elsa fans. I 100% agree. This is just a fun thing. Maybe you've got a special occasion or a fun party where you want to just wear something fun. I'm going to come in and cut this wire, and you'll see it's sitting on top. What I'm going to do is take my pliers and I'm going to press that down, and I'm going to come over and kind of press that in to the wire next to it. So it's on top and it's not really, this isn't going to catch anything. So you can play around with that as you go. Now, I'm going to do a little something else to this, which I think is kind of fun. So I'm going to take some more of my wire. I'm probably going to grab another, 1.5 foot-ish. I'm really not good with measurements. So I'm just going to kind of smooth out the wire with my fingers a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump these out so I can actually get to them a little bit easier. I'm going to pull out some small beads. So all of these look to be about 6 millimeters, roughly, I think, 6 millimeter beads. So I'm going to pull out those smaller ones, kind of push them over here, and have all of those beautiful colors available to me. There are so many pretties here. So I'm going to take the wire again and start over here, just a little bit shy of where we started for the other one. And I want my wraps, my starting wraps, to go on this side. So the shorter part of my wire to go on that side. And I'm actually going to wrap it one more this way. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to come up and press that in and give myself kind of a tight connection here. So we're just going to manipulate that. And if you want to be more cautious of marring the material here, you could always coat your pliers. There's a product that you can get where you can coat your pliers. It's not available at beadaholique.com right now, but you can find Tool Magic and you can coat your pliers. So I've got all this wire here, and I'm going to take a few of these small beads, and I'm going to string on, let's see, I'm going to string on 3, and I'm going to let those drop down, and I'm going to come around the front here, and I'm going to hold on and take my wire next to that first big pearl. And then I'm going to wrap again, just do a few wraps. That's going to make the wrapping here a little bit heavier, which I think is fine. It's only going to solidify your piece. And then I'm going to grab 3 different colors than what I've already used. So 3 more colors. And that's the cool thing about this little pearl mix is you can add all these different colors. So I'm going to take those and I'm going to push those around the next pearl. And we've got just enough space to get in there and wrap. So you're in control here. You put those wrappings where you want, those beads where you want. Isn't that pretty? So if you're wearing this as a tiara, these are going to be little elevations across the top, or as a headband, this would be in the front. So you decide how you want to embellish. You could do it on both sides of the pearl as well. So I'm going to take some other colors here. Let's see. Have I used a bright pink? I have not used a bright pink. So there are some more colors. Get those down onto the wire. And I'm going to come around that pearl. And I'm going to take my wire and do some wrapping. And then that's what we're looking like. Now I've got a bigger space here. I think I'll end up just trying to do that over here to match it up. I think I skipped a wrap there. So there, I'm going to put that guy on, put this dark purple on, and do I have a yellow over here? Oh, here's a pretty yellow. Okay. So I'm going to take this grouping and we're going to go right around here, wrap. Wrapping beads is therapeutic for me. Actually, when I press that in, that actually comes together better. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I've got room for just a few more here. So let's do that one. I'm going to grab a white one, and I think another red one would be pretty. And if you're wanting specific colors for this, you can just do all the specific colors. And if you're doing all one kind of bead, you can do that too. So look, I'm running out of wire here. I'm going to show you adding wire. So I'm going to just do 2 wraps. And then I'm going to trim this off here. So trim that off. And I'm going to come in with my pliers and just kind of tuck that in. Now, to get my piece finished, I just need a little bit more wire. So I'm going to grab some wire and cut off just a few inches to get us going here. And I'm going to come in between this guy, and I'm just going to do a couple of wraps, maybe. And this is where, like, this does not have to be precise because we're kind of in between things here. We're going to be covering this up with with beads. So just gonna grab that, and I'm just gonna trim off that excess up top and then come back in and press that in. And now let me grab this and come around, and I'm gonna add beads from here. So let's see, I've got, do I have another blue one? Here's a blue, and here's a bright pink. And let's see, how about one of these green ones? Pretty, pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna go around that bead right there. And then I'm gonna just do a few more wraps here at my end. Oh my goodness, I love this. So cute. Now, again, if you want to create another layer, you can just do the top. Should we do that? I think we should. I think we should. So let's tuck that on, tuck that or pinch that down, kind of tuck everything in here. Pretty. This would also work for like a Frida kind of vibe. So anybody that loves Frida, this is a way that you could do like a colorful Frida headband or tiara. This could sit. So I'll show you what this looks like on. And you know what? Since we're in the second half of the hour, I think what I'm going to show you, instead of wrapping around, you get the idea. You're going to add more wire here. You're going to wrap those beads, wrap, 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 add more beads, wrap, 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 go around. This would be great for Frida, Dia de los Muertos, that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you how to wrap on some of the chain. And it's so easy, so much fun. Thank you, Kay-How. So this is super fun. And I'm going to put this onto the silver. So this is just like, I love a great sparkle. This is 24 gauge wire. So I was working with 22 for this piece. This is a little thinner, which means it can be a little bit more wieldy to work with, but it's a little bit easier to wrap with. So if your hands are, if you struggle a little bit, your hands, give you problems, you struggle with wrapping because of that. The 24 is a lot smaller gauge. And so you can maybe have a little bit of an easier time with it. So I'm going to come up and get this started onto the wire. And I'm going to pull the wire up and away. So I've got my wraps on. So I've got the start of my piece. And then I'm going to take my chain. And this chain has little channels in between it. So if you don't know about rhinestone cup chain, so it's called cup chain because these little cups are holding these little set rhinestones. So they're little cups, the little rhinestone chatons go in, and then they are bezel set or not bezel set, prong set into the cup. And then in between are these little expandable pieces of metal, and that holds all the cups together. So when you are working with this chain, you can take your wire and wrap it around that little expandable piece of metal. So the first one's going to be hard. I'm holding on with a death grip here, and I'm just going to take and wrap around right in between those two cups like that. Super easy. And then I'm going to go and bypass the next cup and drop that wire in between. So I've got this guy trying to be wieldy on me. And and I've got the wire trying to be wieldy, but I'm holding on to the one that I'm attaching. And then I'm gonna get this guy to hold on here. I'm gonna hold this next one. And I want the chain to kind of hang down because that's going to expand the cup chain, and it's going to allow that little piece of metal to reveal itself. If it were hanging, if you were using it this way, it might tend to pull the little piece of metal in. So you want that metal to be fully expanded in between each one of these little cups. So if you haven't worked with this chain before, once you figure out the mechanics of it, it's really fun to work with. I love rhinestone cup chain. So look how that's coming along. So you've got just that little bit of sparkle. So pretty. And this might be the kind of thing, if you're going to a fancy party, or maybe you're going to a play or a swanky opera, something like that. Even in small towns, there are events like that where you can get gussied up, and you don't have to go into a big city sometimes to see a nice show, to see a nice, operatic performance, that kind of thing. So as you get more on, this is going to be easy. So you can hold on to this onto the frame with this hand and wrap. And I'm sorry, I'm a lefty. So you would just do this with whatever hand work you work with. And I'm just wrapping that wire on. And you see I'm skipping over those cups. And the more you get onto the frame, the easier it is to wrap. And just like the other piece that we made, you will want to try and finish in between and on top of your piece, because that wire will be hidden, and it will also be protected so it won't be catching on your hair. And you can do the same thing. You can add wire. So I'll just show you another little section of wire here. I'm just going to cut off a little bit. And if you want to go to the next one, you're just going to take your wire and start again, adding just a few wraps. You can always use, oops, I managed to grab a pearl with that. You can take that and trim that. I'm probably gonna have to trim that just a touch. So if I can see it, it's hard to see that little guy. So get in here and just pinch that down, and then you can carry on. So this is just so forgiving. This is a very forgiving project because you don't have to have perfect wrapping skills. You don't have to make this look perfect, because it's just going to be lovely as it is. And, chances are no one's going to be looking at the exact top of your head. So that's how you do the rhinestone chain. And I'm going to tuck that in. So if you want to continue on with the chain, you would just keep wrapping. Heck, you could have some dangling chain on there if you wanted. And that's another thing that people do, is they will add like dangly things off of a headband. So if this is going to come across the top of your head, or as a tiara, I should say, if this is going to come across the top of your head, you might want some things to dangle from the sides. So again, you just need a little bit of wire to secure it. And you could add beads on, wire wrap some beads, create some beaded chain, and you could dangle that off the sides. Really fun, really pretty, really just endless opportunities to do things. Now, I've only got these 2 samples to work with. I thought what I would do is show you one more thing just with this section of this piece so you can see is if you, let's see, let me grab some more silver. So if you want to create like a little, where's my other sample? Here it is. If you want to create something like this, now mine is kind of messy, admittedly a little bit messy up here, but it's all nice and secure. If you want to create something like that, I have already dropped my wire. So let's cut another piece off. So if you want to create something like that, just cut off a section of wire. And I'm going to grab some of the, actually, I think I'll use these again. I'm going to use like 3 of these pearls. I'm trying to get them in the same color. Let's see if I can find 3 of the same color here. Maybe I'll pick a different color. That little green. Well, gosh. Okay, how about white and 2 pink beads like that? So if you want to create like a little trio of beads, you can string it on this way. So grab 1, 2, 3. And what I did was I actually created it in my hand first. So I kind of did this and then I twisted to get it into the shape I wanted. So kind of get it into that little trio shape and do a little wrapping like this. And then you can take this and attach it to your piece. So I think what I did was I went like this, wrapped it on like down and around. So like that. And so I've got it attached like this way. And then I would do a couple more wraps, and I can fix these wraps to make them look a little prettier. And then I started wrapping around. So I came up and crossed over in that center and wrapped this way, like this. And then I actually went, I think I went up and over. Or that was one that I don't think I made that as a sample for today, but I've done that in the past. I've done this little kind of section in the past. So I've gone up like that. Then I've come around with this wire, created a few wraps this way, and then went back over like this. Kind of get in between those pearls. So if you want to do some little, higher sections, little elevated decor of beads, you can, and then you can grab, if you've got excess, I don't really have enough, I didn't cut enough here. But if you want to come around like that, and you can kind of tighten up all of that wire down there, you can create these little pieces, and you could take more time and make that look a little bit fresher. But I would tighten these up, kind of come in with my pliers, tighten that guy up. And then you can start other wrapping from here. So you would come in here, do some wraps, add some beads, that kind of thing. So, so that's how, let's see, do you need to use wire to wrap, or can you use fire line? Oma, I have never tried that, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if you used smaller beads if that couldn't work. Large beads like this might be tough to secure with Fireline, but I say give it a try. That's my philosophy, is just try it. Like if you want to see if it will work, you got some Fireline and you got some beads around, give it a shot. So try it and tell us what, tell us about it. Come back on and tell us if it worked, because then we know, and maybe someone else can try too and see if that works. So we've got rhinestone options. Sandra says brick stitch 6 O's on there. Sure. Oh my gosh, brick stitch. You could actually do brick stitch and fringe on one of these. So you could have it drop down. So, if you want to do it from the sides, maybe Cleopatra style. Remember Cleopatra in the movie where there was like a snake head and then down on the side there was fringe? Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. So I love this. This is super fun. I'm going to flip us around. I'm going to show you what this looks like, maybe. I hope it doesn't look crazy on me. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So you could do this like a little tiara. So let's see if I can get this on my head. So you could do like a little tiara here. Could drop it into your hair like that. Oh my goodness, I like that. That is so cute. So much fun. You could do all of the colorful beads. So remember, we looked at these. I don't know if I showed you these. What if you did beads in this color? Like you could do all the beautiful beads like this. You could use larger beads. So you could use 10 millimeter fire polished beads like this. And that would look very beautiful too. But I love this with these pearls. These little pearlies are so cute. Now, this one, I'll put this one back on in a second, but if this wasn't weird and had a piece of rhinestone chain hanging, you could have this look. So look at just this simple little rhinestone accent. I love that. Now, if you were wearing this up top, you could have this little focal section up top. But friends, I like this one. I'm digging this a lot. This is going to be fun for the season, for Halloween or Dia de los Muertos. Yeah, I like this. So here's my challenge to you guys. Get yourself some of these fun frames, and make yourself or someone in your family or a friend a little crown, a little tiara, a little headband, and, just have fun with it. Maybe it's a girls' night thing. The girls could all get together, grab some beads, grab some frames, grab some wine or something, maybe coffee, soda, whatever your poison, and make some crowns and then wear them and watch Princess Bride or something like that. So it'd be a fun night out. Hey, Deb, I missed the coffee cup. Does it match today? Tracy, I am going to admit, I did not plan this, but it kind of does. It kind of does. Oh my gosh, you guys. So this is fun. I hope you enjoyed this fun project. Try it out. Let us know the different things that you do with the little headbands, and share those ideas with us when you come back next week. Don't forget to check out of your carts, because as I said, if you don't check out, sometimes the limited stock items go away and you may not be able to get your hands on them. So please check out of your carts if you can. And let's see, the rest of this week, today is Tuesday. Julie will be back Thursday morning for her next show. No doubt she is going to dazzle us with something amazing. She will also be back Monday afternoon, and I'll be back on Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope you'll have some time to make something and just do some fun things with beads, and maybe you can get yourself some tiaras and headbands made. So I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week. I hope it's a good one for you today. Bye, everybody.